So magsasagot na tayo ng exercises for today. Exercises about divergence, curl, conservative vector fields. So itong divergence and curl, ano lang ito, formula lang. So nagagawin natin for number 1A and 1B. So ano yung formula for, kopyahin natin yung tanong ha, for the divergence and the curl. So recall, yung divergence ni F is equal to yung gradient, yung del operator, you dot it with F, or partial with respect to X, partial with respect to Y, partial with respect to Z ng, let's say your F is PQR, so you dot it with PQR, diba ganyan yon? Or P sub X, partial ni P with respect to X plus partial ni Q with respect to Y plus partial ni R with respect to Z. So that's what we mean by the divergence of F. And the curl of F is equal to the gradient or yung del operator mo. Instead na dot product, cross product. So mag-expect ka ng vector dyan. So pareha lang yan nito. Pero gagawin mo lang cross. So hindi ko masulat yung formula, hindi ko kabisado without using the cross product. So gagawin natin cross product siya. Yan yung mga mnemonic device natin. At kapag dalawa lang yung components mo, aalisin mo lang to for the divergence. And for the curl, gagawin mong 0 yung last component. Kapag 2 components lang yung binigay, such as letter A. So let's do 1A. Okay. Sulat natin ng mas familiar form. Nakaganito. So, x square minus 2. Ganyan siya. So, 2 component lang yung vector field natin. Let us compute for the divergence of F. Ano yung formula? Partial with respect to X plus partial with respect to Y of the Y component. Okay. Which is 2x plus 0, which is 2x. That's how you compute for the divergence. And for the curl, ano yung formula? Ito, kopyahin natin. Partial with respect to x, partial with respect to y. Bakit nang sulat ko ng mga partial? Kailangan ko atang practicein yan. Ba yan? Partial with respect to y, partial with respect to z, and then you cross it with, kopyahin nyo to, x square minus 2, and then yung z component gagawin yung 0 lang. So anong lalabas dyan? Of course vector ang lalabas, no? Okay, so i-cover ang first column, tas partial with respect to y of 0, which is 0, minus partial with respect to z of negative 2, which is also 0. Second component na tayo. Takpan si second column. Partial with respect to x of 0 is 0, minus partial with respect to z of x square is 0 kasi wala namang z dito, puro x lang yan. So ang tingin nung operator na to dito is a constant. And then yung last component natin, you cover the last column. Partial with respect to x of negative 2 is 0, minus partial with respect to y ng x square ay 0. So yung curl niya ay yung 0 vector. Okay. Doon naman tayo kay B. Yung tatlo yung components. So let us copy yung B. Yan yung function natin. Okay, divergence and curl ulit. So, unahin ang divergence. Divergence of f is equal to x component of the first x component. Partial with respect to x of the first component plus partial with respect to y of the second component plus partial with respect to z of the third component. Ito 2 yan. Okay? So, partial with respect to x of this is e raised to xy. And then the derivative of the exponent, which is xy, with respect to x is y. Tapos, anong derivative ng cosine y with respect to y? It's negative sine y. But you have a negative y here, that's why it becomes plus sine y. For this, derivative with respect to z of sine square, malalaglag yung 2, and then apply chain rule. So, ito yung divergence niya. Okay. Let us now compute for the curl. Ano yun? Sulat natin yung partial with respect to x, partial with respect to y, partial with respect to z. You cross it with yung binigay na function sa'yo, which is this one. E raised to xy. Liitan ko lang yung sulat ko para cute. Ayan. So, equal to vector ang lalabas. Okay. Partial ito ha, hindi yan 2. Partial. Ano na mag-drawing ng magandang partial. Ayan, nire-rewrite ko. Kailangan mabagal ka mag-drawing para maganda siya. Okay, so gawin na natin ito. Takpan si first column. Partial with respect to y of sine square z is 0 minus partial with respect to z ng negative cosine y. 0 din kasi wala ka nakikitang z doon sa negative cosine y. Tapos second naman, negative ng partial with respect to x of sine square z, 0 ulit yon, minus partial with respect to z ng e raised to xy, walang variable na z, so it's just a constant. So 0 rin yun. And then yung last component, takpan yung z column, partial with respect to x of negative cosine y is 0, minus partial with respect to y ng e raised to xy, so ang lalabas dyan 0, 0, tapos with respect to y, e raised to xy, tapos derivative ng xy with respect to y is x, and then yung negative natin doon, yung negative. So this is the curl of f. So tatandaan nyo, ang divergence, ang lalabas dapat dyan ay scalar function or a scalar field. Sa curl naman, vector field ang lalabas dapat. Gawin na natin yung second set of exercises. Kopyahin lang natin ulit. Ayan, nakopya ko na pala. Okay, so gawin na natin. To determine if the given vector field is conservative, if the vector field is conservative, give all of its potential function. So what do we mean by a conservative vector field? So if is conservative, if, ano yung definition ng conservative? There is a scalar field na itago natin sa pangalang phi such that if you get its gradient, you get your scalar field. Okay, yan yung ibig sabihin nun. So, actually merong test para malaman kung conservative ang isang vector field. Yun yung may nakita kayong connected domain, tapos check nyo yung mga partial derivative, yung first partial derivatives if continuous, tapos kung may mga mag-equal ba, etc. Tapos masasabi nyo na conservative yung vector field. Pero ang gagawin natin sa example na to is i-assume natin na meron, and then if along the way nagkaroon ka ng contradiction, ang magiging conclusion natin wala siyang potential, so hindi siya conservative. Okay? So, ganun ang assumption natin. May potential siya or conservative siya. Pag nagkaroon ng problema along the way or contradiction, we conclude that F is not conservative. Okay, so for example, letter A. So, suppose there is a phi such that ang gradient niya is f. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng gradient ni phi? So, 'di ba ang gradient ni phi is phi sub x kappa phi sub y. Tapos mag-equal siya sa x ln of y ln of x. So, sinasabi mo na phi of x is x ln of y, tapos phi of y is y ln of x. Okay, so ang sinosolve mo dyan si phi. Pag wala kang nasolve na phi, hindi siya conservative. Okay? So, pili ka lang na isa dyan. So, kunyari ito. If I integrate that with respect to x, ang lalabas ay x squared over 2 ln of y plus some constant. Pero yung constant na yon is a function of y kasi partial derivative ito. And as you can see, kung nagsimula ka dito, if you take the partial derivative of this with respect to x, the partial derivative of this term is x ln of y, and the partial derivative of this is 0 kasi puro y lang ang makikita mo dyan. So now your goal is to solve for this function of y if it exists. Okay, so kukunin mo yung partial with respect to y para magamit mo ito. So with respect to y, you get x squared over 2 times derivative with respect to y is 1 over y plus c prime of y. Kasi nagdi-derivative tayo with respect to y. At function lang ito ng y. At dapat, sinulot ko talaga dapat, no? Saan siya equal? Equal dapat dito. And c prime of y is equal to y ln of x minus x squared over 2y. Nilipat ko lang ito sa kanan. And may mali ba dito sa equation na to? Dito. Ako isipin yung mabuti, this c of y sa function of y, makikita mo lang dyan mga numbers at saka mga expressions involving y lang. Tapos pag dinifferentiate mo yun with respect to y, ang ina-expect mo, makikita mo lang mga numbers or mga constants at saka mga expressions in y pag nag-derivative ka with respect to y. Tapos, sinasabi dito, biglang may susulpot na x. That is a contradiction. So, that is impossible. So, a contradiction. So, therefore, f is not conservative. Malinaw ba yun? Okay, kay B naman tayo. Same lang gagawin natin hanggang kay letter C. Kapag wala ka nakuhang potential phi, hindi siya conservative. Pag may nakuha ka, conservative. At ang potential, hindi siya unique. Okay, pero ang maganda sa kanya, they only differ up to a constant. So let's do this example. So let us determine if this vector field is conservative or not. Tapos hanapin natin yung mga potential niya. Okay, so kunyari, suppose phi is a scalar field such that pag kinuha mo yung gradient niya, you get f. So, yung phi sub x ay 3y square, partial with respect to x, you should get this. And the partial with respect to y, you should get this one. Pili ka lang ng isa, this one, kahit unahin mo. And then differentiate with respect to x, which is 3xy squared with respect to x ang integration plus some constant na function ni y kasi ang partial mo with respect to x, so lahat ng tingin niya sa mga y constant. Okay, tapos differentiate with respect to y just like what we did in the previous example. You get 6xy plus y prime, c prime of y and not y prime, at equal dapat saan? Dito sa 6xy. Sinosolve na natin itong c of y. Kasi pag nahanap mo yon, makakompute mo na yung potential. Okay, so anong lalabas dyan? So c prime of y is equal to, lipat ito sa kabila, cancel yun, no? So magiging c prime of y is 0. So ang derivative ng something is 0. So yung something mo is a constant na itago natin sa pangalang k. Tapos ibabalik mo yan doon sa potential mo dito. So therefore, phi of xy is equal to 3xy squared plus your constant k. Okay? So actually yan na lahat ng mga potential niya. Ulit, hindi straight yung box ko. So and therefore, f is conservative. Okay? And we can actually check na kapag kinuha mo yung gradient nito, you get the given function. Checking. So, yung gradient ni phi is equal to this comma this. Partial with respect to x is mawawala lang to. So, you get 3y squared. Tapos, ito, 0 lang din. Kasi it's a constant. Comma, partial with respect to y. Lalaglag, you get 6xy. Partial with respect to y is 0 because it's just a constant. And as you can observe, yung gradient ni phi is the same as your f. That's how you check the answer. Okay? How about kay letter C? Ito tatlong component na. So dapat marunong kayo mag-solve nito kasi ano ito? Essential ang pagsosolve ng potential. Wow, rhyming. Okay, so paste natin. So ano yung first step ulit? Suppose there is a scalar field na itago natin sa pangalang phi such that its gradient is f. So, yung phi sub x is the x component, phi sub y is the y component, phi sub z is the z component of your f. So, phi sub x is this. 2x cos y minus 2z cubed. Phi sub y is the y component. Ano na yan? 3 plus 2y e raised to z minus x squared sin y. Tas phi sub z ay y square e raised to z minus 6x z square. Okay, so kahit saan ka magsimula dyan, okay lang. Hindi naman nagmamatter yon. Kaya ang ginagawa ko, lagi na lang ako nagsisimula doon sa phi sub x. Okay, so pag in-integrate mo yon with respect to x, you will get your phi. Which is, integrate with respect to x. So 2x squared over 2 is x squared. Minus, ito malalagyan lang na x, no, because 2z cube is a constant sa point of view ng with respect to x. Plus some constant. Anong itsura ng mga constants na yan kung with respect to z, kung with respect to x ka? So yung mga constant mo is a function of y and z. Kasi nag-integrate ka with respect to x. Or you can check it by differentiating with respect to x, makukuha mo ito. Maglalaho lang yung term na to kasi puro yz lang ang mga variables niyan. Okay? And then differentiate with respect to y para magamit natin ito. Partial with respect to y. Negative x squared sine y. For this term, walang y, evicted na siya. And then differentiate this with respect to y. Okay. Bali, ang ginagawa na natin dito is we are solving for this part. Kasi pag na-solve natin yon, tapos na yung potential natin, mabibigay na natin siya. Okay, and just like what we did in the previous item, dapat equal ito sa phi sub y. So, 3 plus 2y e raised to z minus x squared sine y. Meron ba makakancel? Makakancel itong part na to. So, yung c sub y, yz is equal to 3 plus 2y e raised to z. Okay? Integrate natin with respect to y. So, ang lalabas ay c of yz is equal to 3y plus y square over 2. So, magkakaroon ka na lang ng y square e raised to z, correct? Plus some constant, pero sa z na lang siya independent. Kasi ito 2 variables siya eh. Kapag dinifferentiate mo raw with respect to y, magiging ganito. So, pag in-integrate mo, yung constant mo is a function of z because c is a function of y and z. Okay? So, itong c of yz na to, ibabalik mo dito, dun sa potential mo. So, medyo mas maganda na yung itsura ng potential natin. Therefore, phi is x squared cosine y minus 2xz cube plus 3y plus y squared e raised to z plus yung constant mo na function of z. And last, ang hindi mo na lang nagagamit dito is this part. Kaya i-differentiate natin to with respect to z. Lipat ko to ha. Lipat ko. Sayang kasi space. Hinayang ako. So, lagyan na lang natin ng kemeng ganyan. Okay? So, differentiate natin with respect to z. Ito, magsi-0. Ito, lalaglag yon. So, negative 6x z square. Ito, 0. Tapos ito, y square e raised to z plus k prime of z. Okay? Dapat equal yan sa saan? Dito. Ito pala, ito. Tama, which is that one. Okay? Yung phi of z natin, which is y square. Ito yun na, ito yung kinokopya ko. Y square e raised to z minus 6xz square. May mga magsisipag-cancel, no? Cancel, 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 cancel. So, k prime of z is 0. Function in one variable na lang yung k. Tapos, derivative mo siya, naging 0. So, yung k mo is a constant na itago natin sa pangalang L. Tapos, babalik mo na yung constant na yan doon. So, therefore, phi of x, y, z is equal to, kinakopya ko lang to, plus itong part na to, which is yung constant L. Okay, so yan yung potential na hinahanap natin. At may nahanap natin yung mga potential, therefore, F is conservative. Mayroon bang mga katanungan?